Hi all, welcome to Deep Developer YouTube channel. So in this video we'll be discussing about Spring Batch service. So before going ahead with the video, I will give you an explanation about what a Spring Batch means and what are the different component that is present in the Spring Batch. Then we'll do one Spring Boot project where we'll be fetching from data from CSV file, and we will transfer it to the destination where we will be using MySQL as a destination with the help of Spring Batch processing. So let's get started. So Spring Batch is a lightweight framework used to develop batch processing applications, and it is built for mainly efficient large scale batch processing where batch job is usually involved like processing of data and then writing it to the different sources or the destinations. So in this particular example we will be taking on CSV file where it will store the customer data, and with the help of Spring Batch we will transfer it to the destination where MySQL will be using as a destination. So before going ahead, let me explain you about each and every component of Spring Batch, which is called ItemReader, ItemProcessor and ItemWriter. So ItemReader is basically responsible for reading the data from the source. So here in this example we will be using source as an CSV file, but it can be any database, any messaging queue or any kind of APIs. And then it comes to be like ItemProcessor. ItemProcessor is used to retrieve the data by the reader, and it will do some business operation on the particular data. For example, this CSV file. So let me show you this file so for better understanding. So this CSV file is storing the customer data. So for example, from here if we want to fetch the data for specific subscription date, then we can do those kind of business logic and we can operate. So here the we can check and we can process the data based on the different fields or the different attributes. And next component is ItemWriter. So ItemWriter is to write the process data, whatever the data we have processed, and it will write to the target destination. Such as here we will be using MySQL database, but we can use file, messaging queue for the destinations. And it comes before before writing to this destination, it comes with like a few steps and a few jobs are there. So let's understand about what steps actually means. Steps actually means like reading the data and processing it and writing it to the result. It can be different step. Means maybe one step we are processing it, and maybe next step we are doing some operation on that, and maybe third step we are sending it to or to the notification or some kind of step involved. And there is a one more attributes, or we can say one more component is that job launcher. So it's a interface basically, and it have one run method which will take a job as an argument and job parameter as an argument, and it will be processing or it will be transferring the data to the destinations. So let me show you what are the things we required to start it with the video. First is you can go to this repo. I already pasted the repo link in description section, so you can clone it and you will get all the source code. So first go to Spring Initializer, and we can use the Spring Boot 3 versions and Java 17 or more than that. And you need to use the Spring Web as a dependency, Spring Batch as a dependency, MySQL driver, Spring Data JPA and Lombok dependency you need to add. I already have those kind of dependency. So after that the project structure will be look like that. So we will create one repository classes or the repository interface, then entity interface, controller, and we will be having configuration where we will be configuring how regarding the ItemWriter and ItemProcessor and the item readers and any kind of jobs. So we will be doing this in this video only, so stay tuned with the video. So if you are liking the video, you can subscribe to the channel and put your comment on the comment section if you have any doubts. So let's go ahead with the further step. So you can clone this and all the source code is there, and if you want to try along with me, you can also try that. And next what happened that we will be opening that. So we'll be opening it. So if we see that one file is already there, and in that pub.xml file we have already added all the defensive things. So first so in this application.properties file, what we will do, we will add all kind of MySQL configurations or the Spring Batch configuration. Let me copy it and paste it. So I have pasted all the configuration. You can see the URL, and we have created one database and username, password and driver name, and we are showing that SQL will be query will be showing on the console and other configuration. And we have initialized schema for batch, so all the batch related schema will be shown. And we have batch will not be auto start, we will manually do that using API. So this is the configuration. After that, what we need to do, so so all the key values pair we have put it in the application.properties file, and customer.csv file we already have. Now we will create the different we can say packages, entity, repository, configuration and controller. So let me create that. Now we have created all the packages, and now we will create one customer entity files which will be having all this index, customer ID, first name, last name and all the fields detail. So let me create that. I have created this customer entity where I have named it, and all the details, corresponding details, I have put it one by one. You can check from the repo as well. So what is the next task? The next task is to create a customer info table, and the schema is already provided. You can check from the GitHub repo. So we'll copy this schema and we'll open the MySQL, and here I am using deep developer DB. And if we see show tables, we can see there is no table is there. So we'll first create customer info table, executed it, and if we check on the customer info tables, like there is no data, nothing is there, but the table is created. If I refresh it, will show the table is created. Now what we will do, the table is created. Now we need to create the repository, then configuration. So first I will be creating customer repository. So I have created the customer repository, which is extending JP repository with the customer as a class name and the ID, which is type of the ID is string. Now I need to do the configurations. So for that I will be creating on configuration class, and I will be doing the configuration for ItemReader, ItemWriter and the ItemProcessor. So let me create that, explain you one by one. So here Spring Batch configuration file I have created. So I have annotated with configuration because here all the configuration related things I have added. So I have autoed the customer repository, and next is that what are the step that was there, like I need to create one item reader to read from the CSV file. So for that I have created object of flat file item reader, and I have set the resources. I have passed the path where the customer CSV file is present, and I have kept it as a set name and set line to skip. So if we see, so here from the first line is the indexes, not the indexes, it is the columns name. So all the column name. So we are the skipping first name. So that is the case. And there is line mapper is there. What their line mapper actually means, if we go to this line mapper method I have created, and it will be returning a line mapper object of customer type. Here what do we need to do, we need to set the delimiter is comma here. So here we see that every values is separated with a comma. So that's why we have set the delimiter and set name. Name means the all the fields name should be mentioned. So here I have copied it and I pasted all the fields name. And now we have set the line tokenizer and set the field mapper. Then we are returning it. Now the file item reader is done. After that, what is that? You need to process it, process the fields. We can do any kind of custom operation. For that, I have created one customer processor classes. So let me come to the classes. So customer processor class is there. It implement the item processor, and we have override the process functions. Here I am just passing the customer object. I am not doing any kind of internal logic. So if you see, there is a code is commented. So for here we are getting or filtering using some kind of logic. You can do this or you can add something. So the processor is also created. Now after processing, we should have item writer. So here we have created an item writer. So it will be write from the custom repository. It will write to the custom repository, and where the same method is there means if we see this repository method, it is actually extending the CRUD repository. On there the same method is there to save the record on the database. So that's why the same method is created. Now everything got done. Now what is that? Now we need to provide the step to execute the job. So here the step is created. So step 1 is created, which will be accepting job repository and platform transaction management. So here the step builder we have provided, and chunk wise will be process it. And see, the first it is a reader, then it is processing, the processor, then writer. We have mentioned our custom write method, then the task executor. So it will be executing the task. How the task will be executing? So if you see the task executor method, we have set the concurrency limit of 10. Means 10 thread will be executing. Means you can say there are 10 you can say 10 people are there who will be asynchronously executing the task, so the performance will be more. And here we have created one beans of job. So we have mentioned it, name of the job builder, and here we are mentioning how the flow will be going. So in the step 1 will be executed. So if we see that step 1 is going, so step 1 is executed, then it will be ended and then it will build. So now the configuration is got done. Task is to write a controller so that we can execute the task. So let me write that. So if we see, I have created one REST controller, and I have the parent IP is customer, and I have auto add the job launcher. So if we see, the job launcher is part of Spring Batch, which will launch the job, and here the job object is created. And if you see that job object is job launcher is actually accepting the 2 argument of job and the job parameter. So I have added like start time and some values I have added. So job launcher is basically calling the run method. So let me start the application. So I'll go to the Spring Batch, click on run. See that application is started on the port 8080. So we can before hitting this API we have created to start the job. So we'll see like if what are the files that are created, tables that are created on our DB. So you see like there are type of batch step executions, everything. There are few 7-8 tables are being created, and this customer info tables as of now we don't have any data. So let me execute it. So we don't have any record. So what I'll do, I'll hit that API. So I'll open the Postman, and I already had that API. Then I will click on send. So after clicking on this send, you see like there are few SQL queries being sent. Insert customer into info into city, customer ID, first name, last name. So those kind of information are being inserted. So we'll see. If we see like there are total 10,000 record are being inserted processed properly, and we can see this on the console as well. Like step 1 is executed, and the job name that we have created is also completed successfully. Now there are few things you can verify, like batch job execution and batch step execution. There are files are there, tables are there, and you can check this. You can see when it is created, when it is ended, whether the status is completed or not. So there are steps also there. So let me check that what are the step names. So step 1 we have created, so whether it is processed 10,000 records or not. So read count is 10,000, write count is 10,000. So you can also verify from the when it is completed from this kind of tables, and you can get the source code in the git repo that is provided on the description below. And you can subscribe to the channel, and if you have any doubt you can post it on the comment section. Thank you for watching the video.